when coming up here that I would hit the old candelabra that used to be here. And more often than not, I would look over at my shoulder and go, okay, I didn't catch on fire. That's great. It humbles me that after over 8 years, I am called now to preach from this ambo, where so many priests have nourished all of us. Many whom we know, some we don't. Father Bill Benish, Father Jonathan Niehaus, Father Brian Eilers, Father Will Stratton, Father David Trehane, and now Father Craig. To stand in the shoes of these men is a little challenging, but I pray the Lord give me the grace. Douglas MacArthur was known for his flamboyance and, yes, his can-do attitude. Indeed, before World War II, he was known for his removal of protesters from Washington, D.C., and it was because of this that he was sent to the Philippines. Yet, when he was faced with the difficult reality of defending the Philippines against the Japanese in the early parts of the war, he knew he needed to change the tactics that he was taught. And as a result, he began to learn and understand the tactics that were needed to overcome the enemy. He gave his yes to change, wholeheartedly. Now, we can somewhat analogize this to what is happening in the gospel today. Jesus is giving us the parable of two sons. One who might be classified as a sinner, who at first says no, but upon further reflection, further thought, changes his mind and says yes. The other has a somewhat more reticent yes. Oh, sure, I'll go do that. But in the end, it becomes a no. He walks away from it, chooses not to do it anyway. This poses the question, friends, does our yes mean yes? And does our no mean no? MacArthur realized where he had first said no, the reality before him showed him that he must change. Dear friends, the reality before us is very stark. If we continue to say no to the Lord, but waver in a lack of clarity, why aren't we saying yes? If the reality around us is telling us that now, more than ever, we need the grace, the presence of God in our lives, why aren't we saying yes? The devil is very real. He's very much present. And he's very much working hard to convince us to say no for the most minute reasons. I'm not going to go to prayer today because I'm tired. I'm not going to go and sit in the chapel today because, well, I have this, that, and the other thing I need to do. Are we carving out our time to say yes to God's love for us? Are we taking the time to nourish ourselves sacramentally and spiritually so that we can give our lives to the Lord and to others? The humblest of people, those whom society has turned away, whom society has rejected, are saying yes to God in the simplest of faith. Maybe we should be too. Maybe we should be too. The scholars of the law, even after seeing the conversion of such people, even after hearing the words of John the Baptist spoken in their language, it's as if an academic spoke to an academic and said, "The kingdom of God is at hand," in their own dialect. They still refused to convert. They still refused. Friends, may we be people who are seeking after the Lord. May our life be one in search of the one who loves us first. I implore you, as one who lived in the college world, turn away from a life of sin, life of emptiness. It's so easy to have here. All you need do is go lock yourself in your room. All you need do is to push away friends. It's very easy to do. May we be a people who does not fall into that, but rather seeks after the one who loves us. Seek after the friends who support us. Find those who are in that despair. Find those who need God's love. The statistics are staggering. 85% of the students that come here, on average, leave the church. It's a clarion call to us to live our call to evangelize, to live our call of baptism clearly and distinctly. May our lives be an example to others of love, turning away from sin, turning away from emptiness. Say yes to a life of grace, a life of abundance with Christ. We spoke of abundance last week in the gospel. May we always seek after that abundance. May we be a people who says yes each day to the Lord. I think of one of my favorite stories of abundance. I was a member of the fraternity here, Lambda Omega Alpha, and during our retreat, we would sometimes have the alumni come and cook for us. And we all knew that after we got back from Mass, we weren't going to eat the basic food that we were usually cooking because we were college students, we were poor. You don't eat very well. But we knew that the alumni who cared, who loved us, who showed us an example of how to be Christ to others, were coming to cook for us and to celebrate the work that we were doing with the, usually at that time it would be the pledges to the fraternity. They were there to help support us. May we be there to support those in our lives. May we be there to love one another as Christ has loved us.